Okay.
Hey YouTube, what's up? My name is Sammy. I've been dropshipping on eBay for the last 8 years, and today we have Veronica. A quick introduction from you.
Hey, my name is Veronica. I have been on eBay for only a year, and I tried the drop shipping thing, and I thought it was going to be piece of cake like everybody else. Um, I do, I did for about 9 months or so, vintage. I still do pre, like used items and whatnot. But on Halloween, I saw these decorations and I decided to put them up through AutoDS. And boom, they were like going like crazy. And I'm like, my God, these people are buying these things. They're like $500 or more. I couldn't believe it. And long story short, by the time I put the orders, I started finding out that they were not processing and they were getting delayed and delayed. And my people were like, okay, where's my thing? Yeah, go ahead.
Just to stop you right there, did you
Yeah,
place the orders yourself or did you let AutoDS place them for you?
I did whatever I had to do, so the order went through AutoDS.
Got
But
it.
it kept saying in progress, in progress, in progress, and they were not progressing.
So that's the first problem that we have. Usually, whenever we're drop shipping, the one thing that you need to have full control of is the order fulfillment. And having a third party do it, it does work in some cases, but think about the seasonality of it, right? People in fourth quarter, people are getting sales like crazy, and even AutoDS has their limitations. So by you using a third party, you lose some of that control. And if you did have your own Amazon accounts, or what supplier were you using?
Lowe's.
Lowe's. If you had your own Lowe's accounts, you would have had a lot more control over that shipping aspect of that business model. So if you're gonna ever drop ship again,
Mm.
um, like the first thing that you want to do is you want to learn from this mistake of outsourcing the order fulfillment and have it really under your control. You get what I mean?
Um, so long story short, they tell me that I can't do it automatically through AutoDS and I have to do it manually.
Mhm.
So I have no idea what to do. So I panic and I go to Lowe's. I had a pro account from before. I open whatever else was there to open and I buy these things myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go ship them.
Nice.
Well, the shipping was more expensive than the thing because they were big boxes. So I'm like, I am going to lose like a lot of money here. So impossible. I couldn't do it. I had to cancel, most of the orders.
Oh
And
man.
uh, it went sort of okay, except that without knowing, I put out of stock, and out of stock eBay doesn't like the
Yes.
company right now. So it's like I made mistakes and I find out things. I make mistakes and I find out things.
Yeah.
It's
Very natural,
yeah.
but very
So
expensive mistake.
very expensive.
Yeah.
I had to request AutoDS to give me my money back because I had loaded the account like $1,500 so they can buy these things, and then they're like, "Oh well, we take like 30%, fee," and I'm
Yeah.
losing money left and right.
Yeah.
Um,
So let's talk about that really quickly, right? So
yeah,
you said that you were selling Halloween decorations and the you had to cancel 14 orders, right?
no, no, this is Christmas. Halloween was when
Christmas.
this started. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had to cancel like a bunch of orders. And let me tell you what the correct approach would have been in that situation,
Yes.
right?
What?
So first of all, whenever canceling an order is the absolute last resort, and I know that you feel like you have went and got the last resort, because you try to ship it out yourself, right? But there was more that you can do, and I'll tell you what it is, right?
Okay.
We are all shoppers and consumers, and in the end of the day, like what somebody is, you have to understand what the person is buying and what they're buying it for, right? So let's say that somebody's buying a Halloween decoration or a Christmas lights or something to decorate their home, right?
Yeah.
It's not really about the product. If you understand why they're buying it just to go ahead and decorate the home, right? So if you understand that and you're not able to ship out the item that they bought, instead of canceling it, what you should have done is you should have found a similar product, right, that they would still want, right?
Hmm.
And then you
Hmm.
go ahead and you tell them a message that, hey, Victoria, I'm so sorry, these lights, like they're damaged, and I don't want to do that to you, but I have this more expensive product, right? It's more valuable. It just came in, and I can ship them out to you. And you know what? Just to make it right, Victoria, I'm gonna give you a 20% discount on it as well. Like, how about that?
Genius.
Right? And then they're gonna be like, oh, so you made the mistake, but because of the mistake, you're trying to make it right by giving them a more expensive product. And here's the catch. Because we are the sellers and the price is arbitrary, right? For example, like this stand that I have, how much do you think it costs?
$10,
20
$100.
bucks, 100 bucks. Like if we asked 10 different people, they would have gave us 10 different answers.
Right.
So what we could have done is find products that were even cheaper, right? But then list them on eBay for a higher price. So the perceived value is greater. So when you're offering the alternative to the buyer feels like, holy smokes, I'm getting a $200 product, even though I spent 100, and I'm only getting this because they made a mistake and they had a problem. And so imagine you ordered an iPhone 13 on eBay and the seller said, hey, I'm so sorry, I don't have the iPhone 13, but can I send you the iPhone 14 instead? What are you going to tell them?
Right. Now, when it comes to seasonal, how do you deal with the time? Because you have a very short amount of time from the time that they order the product until they find out that they're not going to get it. And now we're talking very close to the time.
Good question. So first of all, you do right by giving the okay. So let's say that in the circumstance where you have no choice but to cancel, right? So what you would do is first of all, you would go ahead and understand what is the real problem. Someone getting their item is that is it's not the end of the world, right? Right? But Veronica, if I told you, right, that hey, like I shipped out the item, right? It's supposed to come in 2 to 3 days, right? I'm on the phone with my supplier every single day. I'm trying my best, Veronica, to get it for you, but it's like it's not working. And then you tell them about yourself. Are you gonna be like, hey, this guy's a horrible seller? Or am I going out of my way and making sure to roll out the red carpet for you? Right? It's all comes down to customer service, right? As
Yeah.
long as you are like, what are we doing as eBay sellers? We're here to serve our customer, right? So if you are serving them, right, they're your king, and you're doing everything. Imagine, even if they didn't get the item, they're gonna give you 5 stars. Why? Because they felt special that day. Someone is giving them that much love and attention, right? So our job is you should be comfortable. Just pick up the phone, call them, be comfortable
You mean call them
communicating.
like for real? Call them?
Call them for real. Like, like
Oh,
you have their
you.
phone number.
Oh, I never thought that was allowed.
Oh, 100%. Like you build relationships with them, right? And then from there, like even if the transaction didn't go well, right? What's gonna happen is they'll leave you 5 stars. You're not gonna have to cancel the order. You can ship them something else, right? They're gonna feel good about it. And then once you build that trust with somebody, imagine what you can do next. You can tell them
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
hey, I have this other, like, what else do you need? I'll get it for you. Once somebody is happy, you can
yeah.
just keep
100%.
sending them stuff.
Yeah. Well, I got as far as them saying, you know what, dude, just refund me the money because I didn't know you could go fast and call them and stuff because I would have. I mean, you should read my
Yeah,
messages. I go totally out of the way.
I
I mean,
believe you.
I went and bought the things and I was ready to mail them and I'm trying to find out freight
Beautiful.
prices and anyway,
Yeah.
that was an experience. Thank
No,
goodness returned all of my items, so I wasn't stuck with Halloween items.
yeah, and you know what? Like, so what one thing I'll tell you is in the end of the day, selling on eBay is still sales,
Hmm.
right? It's ultimately sales. And what is sales? It's building trust with the customer, right? You're building trust, you're building relationships.
Absolutely.
Sales in its core is trust, right?
Hmm.
And having that communication. And then we're here to solve someone's problem. And sometimes like the is and if you're not and for the next time around, during the Christmas season and Halloween season, right? What we do is your shipping policy, extend the dates. Don't make it so tight.
Mhm.
You know what I
So
mean?
yeah, I've seen that
Yeah.
on some sellers.
Right. But as long as in the end of the day, canceling, you just want to if you're ever gonna cancel, you only cancel by the buyer themselves saying that, hey, like, yeah, okay, go ahead and cancel it. And then you press buyer ask to cancel. But
Got it.
first, you do everything in your power to make the transaction successful. That means you source it somewhere else. Maybe you find a different website, like you did. Maybe you go on AliExpress, Team. Maybe you ship it out, or at the very least you just like people, you'll be surprised they're willing to wait for it as long as they feel special and they understand that you're trying. Everybody wants to support each other, you know? Everybody loves to small help small businesses.
Yeah, I find that a lot of people are very supportive. People that were mad with the Christmas perfume thing, that were mad, asking me, refund my money, blah blah blah. And I started talking to them, and gosh, we ended up like, I'm going to buy perfumes from you for for Valentine's Day, and have a Merry Christmas, and you know now. The funny thing is that now they have the one that I send them for free, the refund, and the one that they originally bought is finally arrived. And I'm trying to contact them so they can send me one back. All that friendship went out the window.
Not necessarily. Like it just means that they didn't like you enough. Like if you, as long as you're going out of your way, like in the end of the day, even if you lose a couple bucks, right? You
Yeah,
don't need, you can always offer them more, right? You can tell them that, hey, like, you know what, you guys can keep it. Do you need anything else? Right?
yeah,
You just built, you just spent that money to build that trust with them. Now
yeah.
now you take that trust and you keep and you find whatever, what else problems do you have, right? And then you
I
offer them that.
like I wrote, I did the refunds that eBay processed for me, and I decided that I was not going to go ahead and get refunds from all the other ones, because that means that I have to get the customer to refund, to send me the product, and then I have to send it back, and it's not going to work. So I'm just going to be out that in lieu of keeping the customers happy as I left them.
Oh yeah, that you will make so much more in your entrepreneurial journey as long as you are making people happy,
Yeah,
right? As long as you're alive on eBay and your customers are happy with you, right? Those customers are gonna come back to you, right?
I'm telling you, I even wrap these perfumes in Christmas with a big red bow, and I put them in a box, and I send it, and I got, oh gosh, thank you for. I mean, I go out of my way,
Yeah,
out of my way.
you betcha.
But sometimes it's now on the eBay side that, I mean,
All you did was
people.
a small mistake. You picked the wrong option when you canceled it. And
Yeah, but there were customers opening items not received because the items were taking so long in arriving, and um, the tracking number showed absolutely no movement on the item. Like, days would go by and the item was still in the same spot, and they were texting me, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell them. They are like, I'm calling my people and they're trying to find out, but they can't
that's
find
what
out.
you tell them. Here, that's the beauty of what you said. You knew exactly what
Yeah,
to say.
2 weeks trying to hold these people back because the item was still in the same place. And there was a time that three of them kind of opened at the same time, and eBay just refunded them. And I wasn't like, I was in contact with them, but I wasn't aware that boom, eBay will come in and
Yeah.
close the case.
So do you know what
And
to do now for that situation?
well, now I refund the money, or I,
Right away.
when they open the case, so I have to refund it right
Exactly.
away. I did
Exactly.
the
And then
next
you
10 of them.
resolve it in the messages. As long as people know that you care about them, like if you kept like you showed me like such grace over a message, right? Even if I was a bad person, I'm not gonna screw you knowing that you're trying to make a living, providing for your family, and you're just using this as a hustle to get through. And you
Yeah,
and if you're sure if you can let people and people understand that,
yeah.
right? That
And I
love
I totally get that from people. You will find the one that there was one that um, great, blah blah blah, everything peachy, and then he goes and leaves me a negative review. I was like, what? We were buddies 2 minutes ago. What happened? And I wrote him. I said, I think you're being a little harsh. Try reviewing. Nothing. But I put it
No,
through
but
eBay.
so what you would do in that situation is you find out why they left you the negative feedback, right? And then instead of asking them to revise the feedback, you focus on making them happy. Sometimes they just want a partial refund or something, and then after you wait until they say they're happy, and then you ask in for the favor.
Tammy, they had gotten a full refund.
Yeah, and but maybe that's not enough. So sometimes maybe it's like if you find out why they're angry or whatever, and then you use ChatGPT and give them like a therapy session or something.
Right.
I, I'm I'm
Absolutely.
I'm not even kidding with you. This one customer was just like swearing at me, and I was writing the messages myself, and I just got fed up, and I just took all of our messages, put into ChatGPT, and said, "Hey, make him happy." Copied that long message, sent it to him. He replied back. I didn't even read it. I copied it, put it into ChatGPT, and said, "Make him happy." Looked a huge thing, and then kept going back like that. And the guy all of a sudden became like, you know what, teamwork. We're here together. We're doing this together.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, definitely. I get emotional right away, and yeah, I try my best on everything, but when you cross me like that, I'm like,
No, no,
but
you
I have
can't.
to. Then I have to move to the artificial intelligence.
Exa Beautiful. Like
Yeah,
even me, right? Like if somebody's angry with you, we're human beings, we feel it. So we need to set, and ChatGPT now allows us to give excellent service and we get to detach the emotion. The reason I
right.
was using it was because he was making me angry. And if I started typing, it's gonna show. So I took it all and just put into ChatGPT. Just
Yes. So I mean, like, yes, 100%.
yeah.
And with eBay, I started using ChatGPT and or Gemini, and everything was going good until I started getting all the cases back, and none of them were going my way. And I started getting and building and building and building, and I took it over. And I think also that's where I went wrong, just putting in way too much emotion and probably just open up.
It's okay. Yeah, like you need to, you if you need to go through these lessons to be able to know that you had problems because it's better it happens now than when you have a bigger business,
Oh yeah,
right? Because the losses become compounding at that point. So these
right.
are like everybody in your shoes or like who are past your point has been where you are, right? And that's the reason why like I can have this conversation with you because I was where you were at and many people were.
And when I started reading everything, I'm like, oh, so other people, because I felt like I was the dirtiest, most cheater, person, and oh my God, they're making me. So when I saw that you guys were talking about the MC whatever, and everybody knew, I'm like, oh, it's a thing. I felt like I wasn't the only one, and that helped a lot.
Yeah, you betcha. Like whatever you're going through, completely normal. It's just the learning phase of becoming like a seller on eBay. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So let's
yeah.
jump into what is your problem today?
Well, I have to reply basically to eBay and fulfill every one of their requirements, which is the
C11.
MC11. Yeah. I went through, after I watched your video, I went through all of my emails again. And apparently, in one of the responses of the customer service agents, they said on December 17th, you got sent this one email. I cannot find that email. And I think, I don't know, um, it's just not there. And then I got another one that starts saying, we're gonna kind of interview your account, and the details will be at the bottom of this email, and there's no details at the bottom of this email. So I am very confused at this point.
Okay, I gotcha. So you basically got the MC11 restriction on your account, and now like you want to resolve that, just
Yes.
continue selling on eBay.
Yeah, it just took me a while to come around and know that that's what it was, because I kept getting little bits of
Mm.
somebody, one of the reps said, let me explain, and went through the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, now I have to do this. I had no
Okay.
clue.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you have did you watch our video on the MC11?
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
that was like so informative. Like, okay, now I have to do this. And it kind of brought me down to La La Land. I had no clue.
Yes. So the resolution for the MC11 is is one of the most difficult parts of this whole business model, right? So that's why we always say prevention is better than the cure, right? And even if you do resolve it, like there's not a guarantee that it's going to be resolved, right?
So let me ask you, just by basically grabbing every document that they want and sending it, it's no uh, guarantee that you're
No.
gonna.
You have to do it in a systematic way because what is the MC11? The MC11 is eBay's risk management system, right? They are here to assess you if they want you to continue selling on the platform. And sometimes, even if you send all of the documents, if the reason you got the MC11 was because you are posing a risk to the platform, and the risk to the platform means that what is eBay's goal? It's they're here to make money, point blank and simple, right?
Yep,
Every transaction that that occurs on their platform, they're getting a split in the fees, right? A bit of the revenue of that transaction. And
of course.
canceling orders means that effectively that they're not getting a piece of that revenue anymore.
Hmm.
So it's even if your business is all legitimate and everything, but if they're not making money from you or they're losing customers because of you, right? They don't want you on the platform. So from
Sorry, I
no
have a
problem,
friend on my lap.
no problem.
Don't wanna. Go ahead.
So from what I'm seeing is the reason that you got the MC11, right? There's two reasons why somebody gets the MC11. Number one is if your account is growing too fast, right?
Hmm.
And if you're growing too fast, then what happens is, right, eBay is like, oh, like let's make sure they're legit. They're not like sending broken iPhones to somebody. They want to
Hmm.
verify that you actually have the products on hand. And then if you can prove it, they'll no problem. You continue selling as normal. The second reason somebody gets it is because they are actually a risk to the platform, right? Like somebody's buying from you on eBay and then they have a bad experience and then what they're gonna say is they're not gonna say, "Oh, I bought from Veronica from eBay." They're
They're
gonna
gonna
say
buy
that,
from
"Hey,
people.
I got it from eBay and
Yeah.
this happened." And now eBay spent thousands of dollars on getting that customer to come to the platform and now they are effectively turned off because of that unpleasant experience. So selling on eBay is a privilege, not a right, right?
Hmm.
So that's why with that privilege, we must secure it by making sure that each and every one of our customers are happy, right? So with that being said, from what I'm understanding is you got the MC11 for the second reason, the latter reason, and not the former of growing too quickly.
I think the first email came because of the amount of orders all at the sudden, but then because of the item not received, and then I put item not received, it kind of poof, and then it went to the
Yeah.
11.
So once what somebody's gonna do is they're gonna investigate your account and they're gonna see all of those cases. They're gonna see those cancellations, and they're at that. If the reason why you got the MC11 was because you're growing too fast, then simple documentation, you have a very high success rate, 80-90%. But for the latter reason, you have about 50% or maybe less, depending on the circumstances on the account. So
So what do you suggest for that latter reason?
So first of all, you have to prepare yourself for the worst outcome, which is your account gets suspended. And that doesn't mean it's the end, right? Entrepreneurship is about solving problems. Suspension is one of those problems that are, if you're ever going to grow this business to something that you are making a substantial amount from, then you need to be comfortable with getting suspended and you need to be able to come back from that suspension, right? So that means that learning how to come back to selling on eBay after suspension, right? It's more difficult, but it is a prerequisite to having a successful business selling on eBay. You know what I mean? Imagine like
Yeah,
you were dependent on eBay and then you just couldn't come back. Like what would happen? Like that's not really a business you can rely on, is it?
no. I mean, I would research high and low how to get back if that was the only thing. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So with that being said, the first thing that I would recommend is so Marty, right? I don't know if you reached out to him yet, right?
I did. I did.
And did you like what happened with that conversation?
I haven't conversed with him. I sent him a message saying that I watched the video and that I had a situation. I didn't want to write uh, a 3-page essay on it again. So um, it was pretty late. So maybe tomorrow.
Yes. So first things first is you contact the experts who can resolve who know how to resolve this. This is not a suspension that somebody like who has dealt with it one time should be resolving by themselves. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we give out the entire solution, right? It's not it's th- you want somebody to hold your hand throughout the process. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's other ways to go about it. But you gave it your best shot with sticking with the people of knowledge. Do you get what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So
Yeah,
that's
I feel that I could have everything just the same as they want it, but one bad day or one good day, or I get too emotional and I say the wrong thing, or it could ruin everything. So, um, definitely leaving it to the experts is the way to go.
yes, you're right. With the MC11, like this, like more. So I also deal with this, right? But that's why we had that call with Marley, right? Marley is one of like the users of EcomSniper who handle it at he handles it as well, right? But the main thing is like the as you said, right? Like these things they require like depth, right? Like
It's
even though
still
we give out,
close.
yeah, even though we have the full solution out there, it's just something that is like so uncomfortable for someone to do it by themselves, right? But once you go through the process one time with someone out with someone who's an expert, then you're comfortable and you can just do it again by yourself after. You know what I mean?
Uh, when you said systematically, what did you mean by that? You have to do the stuff systematically. Yeah, you have to give it back to them in a certain order.
So so eBay, so remember they what they're doing is they're doing risk management, right? So the first thing that we do whenever we're trying to resolve the MC11 is actually we go back to the customers, we have them revise the feedbacks, we have them like say they're happy, and we build up like a case. That way we can show eBay, right?
I
Because
have a problem with that. The items were all removed for most likely not following policy. I would say counterfeit. I don't know. So on top of it, I have that in my hands now that I bought items that were not or were removed, at least were removed from the platform. So when the customer, because a couple of them would get back to me, wanted to go leave feedback, they couldn't.
okay, as long as you have them in the messages, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as someone like so eBay is assessing risk, right? If you have them like DM you and say that, hey, you know what, you're a great seller, you make a PDF and you collect all of those
Okay,
testimonials,
got it.
right?
Okay.
It's all about like showing eBay that, hey, like we are not a risk. Like that's what they're doing here. So we go out of make the effort, like clean up any cases, right? If you have like defects on your account, we try to remove all of them before you do the appeal. Because
So, how do you remove? I tried a couple and they were all denied, so I stopped trying. This is all related to this thing. My account was squeaky clean up until now. Everything happened within 2 3 days. Boom, went to crap.
Mhm.
How
So
do you?
I,
How
I
are they
understand
gonna
your question.
remove the? Yeah.
I understand your question. So you're asking, how do you remove the defects? How do you remove the negative feedback? So, do you have negative feedback?
No, yeah, I actually that one I put eBay. I sent it to eBay and they took it off.
Nice.
So
So it's
yeah,
only the cases.
only the cases, only the defects.
So with the cases, you have to lawyer up, right? You have to go out and take the reasons. So all your cases, right? The defects that you got were basically either eBay sided with the customer, right? And then you got a defect from that, or you canceled because you clicked out of stock.
Well, I have the ones that eBay closed on me without me. I was like talking to the customer, thinking that it was enough, and they just went and refunded the customer without like I was clueless. So
Yeah.
I have like that's called without resolution or something. And
Yes.
I was trying to resolve.
Yeah. So what you do is like you first of all for each one of these you have to appeal them through eBay. The first you try to do it with the system that they have. And if that doesn't work, then you have to get on a call with them, right?
Mm,
And then keep going to upper management and then explain their case, show them the proof that hey, look, these are the messages, I resolved it. eBay stepped in before I got when buyer said he was okay, was happy with it. And then
mm,
one by one. But before you do that, you use ChatGPT to give you an argument, so that way you can argue the case, right?
mm,
And with enough pressure, right, you can remove all of these cases, right? Like for example, like you can go on even if one rep says no, you can message them on LinkedIn, right? And then go ahead and have somebody upper in eBay like look at each one of these cases one by one and then start like removing them. You get what I
mm.
mean? Before you do the MC11 appeal.
Okay. Is there a time limit or a time constraint on sending these documents back, except that my account is sort of restricted? I mean, I'm still having sales and I still can post things, but my traffic has gone way down, so they probably just, you know,
Yeah. So,
on them.
like we have seen people appeal it 1 year later.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm,
And actually sometimes waiting it out is in your advantage too. The reason why is because if you appeal it and they decline you, then you get suspended.
mm,
You get what I mean? So you don't want to
mm.
appeal it without, and so sometimes, like if you wait the 1 year, what happens is all of those cases, they get auto removed by eBay anyways.
Hmm.
Do you get what I mean? But if you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
get back to selling quicker, then you want to like do all the work to resolve all of them before you do the appeal. You get what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, you just want to
Um,
make sure that when they're actually reviewing the account, they're not seeing anything that's a risk.
so I think I got an email saying, let's try to get your account back to regular standards before the next evaluation, which comes what every 2 months or 3 months or
3 months, yeah.
so. Would that be trying to remove those defects? I suppose.
And after
Um,
in the next evaluation, the like those depending on when you got those defects, they'll either stay or be removed at that time. So depending on how many sales you're getting, the evaluations as every year or every
mm,
3 months,
mm.
right? It depends on the volume of sales that you're getting.
I've been getting them every 3 months.
Okay, so then that means that after 3 months, right? I'm not sure when the next date is. Um, it's
They told me, but March maybe.
Yeah. So at that time, those defects and stuff should be removed on your account. So that is a
Uh,
viable option
how? Why would they be removed?
because eBay, like your standard on your account right, is based off how many defects you have on the account. And those defects, right, they get back to zero every 3 months, and then you start over again.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's forgiving.
oh, I thought they stay there until you have enough sales or time went by and the percentages shrunk,
That
shrunk, shrunk.
yeah, and that time is 3 months. And then they reevaluate you again off
But
of like the new timeline.
with the amount of sales that I'm getting right now with basically no traffic, uh, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, but if you're already on the 3 month cycle,
Mm-hmm.
then like the so let's say from January to March, right? They'll evaluate you on your defects in this period.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So it depends on like it's kind of like getting a speeding ticket,
That
right? They don't
I mean
stay
that
on your
is
account
like
forever.
that is the best news that I've heard
But
since
but
Christmas.
more important is like you don't try to appeal the MC11 without being certain that what they're
Absolutely.
seeing is clean. So it's not about what you're sending them. It's about all of the work that's done beforehand.
Before.
Yeah.
So you want to show you have a clean background, clean account, clean customers, clean everything, and then you appeal and you're like, oh, she's clean.
Yeah, like this was like this person is not a risk. Maybe there was some error that happened or something because these things do happen. But
Yeah,
if you're appealing and then your account is like all negatives, all cases, people are angry with you. Yeah, this is doesn't matter what documentation you show them. You can tell them you're the Prince of Nigeria and they'll still
right,
take you down.
right. Well, I was pretty much doomed because the
No.
percentages they grew so fast that there won't be any sales in the world, trying to shrink those percentages. I mean, I don't have enough traffic right now to
It's
so,
okay.
but
And even if you did like even with the MC11, if you don't appeal it, you can always make another account.
okay. Yes, I didn't know if I was okay asking you about that, but that was my next thought. I have everything into this account. It's just me, you know. Um, so you need a new phone number, you need a new everything, and how do you go about?
So we have a video inside of the Discord in the
Uh-huh.
account creation channel. I have a video that I pinned, right? What you need to do is you need a new phone number, a new email, a new password, right? And then a new bank account, a new computer, a new IP address. You need the whole 9 yards. So when with the reason why is because if you make an account with anything that's tied with the other account, then they're gonna link you, right? And if they link you, that's the problem. So now the question is, but what name do I use, right? You can eBay actually doesn't do they don't verify your name until you do around $3,500 in revenue. So that means that if you put a variation of your name, right, you can go ahead and sell until you get the 3,500 in revenue. And at that time, you put in they're gonna ask you to verify your real name and put and upload your passport, and that's when you do it. But you do it when you've already built a relationship with eBay, and now that they trust you, they're not gonna give you a problem verifying the account.
So you're saying I should stay personal, not open another store, open another business account.
You could, but I would say you open up another business account, right? Different everything, but you use all variations of the information so it doesn't link back to the original account. You get what I mean? And if
Yeah.
it links back to the original account, that's when you're gonna have the problem. So you're gonna need to have like a little bit of tech experience to understand how to get like a separate IP address. Like
That on that, I have VPNs, for example.
not gonna work.
Going through a VPN, no?
So first of all, you need to understand that when creating a new eBay account, right? What eBay is trying to do, they're trying to weed out all the scammers, all the fraudsters and everything. Every fraudster tries a VPN. Every fraudster tries a proxy, right? So what you need to do is you need to stay away from all of the criminals, right?
Okay.
And you got to do the hard work. Like, so let's say you have like maybe your grandparents or maybe your sister, your brother, they have a house. You set up a computer over there, right? A laptop, and you just remote into that computer and you use that one. To get what I mean?
Yeah. Um, shoot. My sister lent me her computer, and I have two iPads, and I have every single one linked out to this account. Can you unlink at least one of them so I have one of them to use for a new
Yes.
account?
So you can
Okay.
take a computer and you have to reformat it completely
Oh,
because because that computer is already tied to this account of yours. So you need to wipe it completely, factory reset it so it's a brand new device and it's not linked back to into any other accounts.
got it.
Yeah, but you never connect that to your Wi-Fi at home, which is already connected to one account. You want to take that computer, you set it up at your sister's house, or you can get another IP address or an internet at your own house. But that's a little more complicated. I think the easiest is just to set it up at your sister's house. And then as you're growing your business and you want more accounts, you can figure out we have like videos on this whole topic on how to get more IP addresses and everything. But it's gonna be like a learning journey. It's not hard. Just takes a little
I
bit of time.
figure it's not hard because there are so many people talking about all the accounts that they have. And I noticed with this perfume thing that sellers come in, they sell two things, and then they just disappear and they come back with a different name. And I'm like, how are they doing this?
Takes a little bit of
It's
effort. Once you learn the
but
systems,
uh-huh.
and all it is just not because if you're using a VPN, eBay knows, right? And even if you're not linked to anyone, because you're using a VPN, it's suspicious. So the name of the game is to not be suspicious to eBay. So
If even if it's a VPN to a private, like my sister has another house, and we have a VPN to her house, and my other sister has it. They're all related to our family. They're not like bought, or I don't know.
a VPN is usually a service you get online,
Hmm.
and any online services, eBay can tell you're using a VPN, and that's kind of weird in their eyes.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? And
Hmm.
that suspicion is you want to stay away from all of that, right?
Got it.
So that means even the bank account that you open, right, should be
Hmm.
like Chase Bank or Bank of America. The phone number you get should be something like Verizon or AT&T, something,
Right.
right? And then you when you create the account, like you go through like that process. And then the most important thing is if you're when you're making the account, if you're unsure about something, you ask questions.
Yeah. Not just jump in the pool without. Yeah.
Yeah, like having a community to be able to ask questions, that's kind of like where the gold is. So the more
Absolutely.
friends that you have, the more, like if the more people you're able to talk to, like the more that'll serve you. Because running like a successful business, in the end of the day, what's stopping us from making a bunch of money, right? What's different from you and like a millionaire who's making $1 million on eBay, right? You can do the difference is knowledge, right? And having a source of knowledge and having people and a network who you can talk to and to solve problems together, that is how you really see success quickly.
It's so true what you're saying, because I thought that very egotistical of me, but I thought, I am going to do this and I'm going to do it on my own. And it, you know, the year, it took me a year to make enough mistakes, but it came. And I didn't know where to go. Like, there are communities everywhere, but I'm like, I don't belong to any of them. I've never talked to any of them. And it was just like by sheer luck that I opened Discord and you were there.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's gonna be many people like this, right? Right. But the main thing is it's not the people are out there. The hard work is reaching out to them and building connections. right?
Yeah.
Building friendships and
Yeah.
providing value. You know what I mean? The more value
Hmm.
that you put out into the world, the more that's going to come back to you. Let me tell you a very quick way, a very smart, easy way of making huge network. Make YouTube videos.
I was so hesitant to even go on this Zoom call. I'm like, I don't put my face out there. I don't know, I'm old. People don't want to see old people doing
No,
videos.
no, you're completely wrong. Like people want to see themselves when they're watching YouTube, right? What you're going to be able to do is you're going to find hundreds of people just like yourself, right? And those are the ones that are really gonna be, because how do you really build a network? You're not gonna talk to a 15-year-old kid and find a lot of things in common with, right?
Right.
Business is one conversation, right? You want to have like be able to talk to a lot of people that you can relate with, share stories with, celebrate with, cry with, right? This is like the ideal network. And the way you do that is there's experts just like yourself, but you need to find them, right? And then you would want to stay with all of them. And this is how you really be successful. You know what I mean? So one, I would
Mhm.
really encourage you to take the time and like make videos about your problems and how you're solving them. And then all of these other people are gonna start coming towards you. Make your own Facebook group, and maybe you have a weekly call with all your people, and then you guys can like solve it together. And then this business becomes so fun when
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
doing it with
yeah,
other people.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it would be like great to be out of my comfort zone, but maybe it's time.
Yeah, like remember, like in the end of the day, you're the one that's gonna benefit the most out of it because you are gonna be able to like have all of these people come towards you and you can like for example, you're getting a call with me, right? Everybody is gonna have something to provide value with. And everything that you know you can share it, and then they're gonna start sharing their experiences. You just spent a year of experimenting. Imagine how much value that is, right? And now you're giving that information to everyone so they don't have to do it anymore. And then someone
Yeah.
else has spent another year doing something else, and in within 10 minutes of a conversation, you guys have just exchanged all of that information. You know what I
You know
mean?
what? Um, there is this neighborhood up, and somebody said, "Oh, I have some stuff on warehouses and I don't know how to sell them." And I'm like, I have three warehouses full of stuff and I've been dealing with it for a long time now. And, so just what you said, I wrote her and I'm like, if you need any advice, everybody gave you great advice here, but I've been doing this for a while now. And I can tell you what works, what doesn't work. If we want to get together, we can maybe benefit from each other. I mean, she wrote me, she's like, yeah, call me. Of course I didn't because, that's me. But you are so right.
You gotta, so here's a pro tip. Every conversation, just like how I'm recording it, right? You record it so that way many other people can benefit from this. Like go ahead and like you don't need to make a Discord, you can make a Facebook group, whatever you're comfortable with because and then what's going to happen is in your YouTube videos put a link to your group so other people can start joining them. You know what I mean? Because if right now your biggest problem, one of the biggest problems you had was you didn't have anywhere to reach out for help. Imagine how many other people have this problem, right? And you're gonna be able to bridge that gap with everybody, right? And then the more, how is money? First of all, let's talk about why the items you're selling are being sold, right? The only way to make money in this world, right, is by providing value, right? And providing value in e-commerce means that we're solving problems, right? Somebody bought like a fan because, maybe they're hot, and you bringing that fan in front of them is you providing value to them because you solve the problem, right? And in that process of solving a problem, right, we're providing value, and then some of that value we're capturing for ourselves, right? That is how money is made in business, right? So by you putting yourself out there and then like sharing your journey and having a community for people to come into, right? And just like connect with, you're providing value, and the more value that you give out and people are getting from it, you're going to be able to capture some of that for yourself, and that's how money is made.
It's absolutely yes, 100%. I mean, I should know better. I'm a marketing major, or I was back in
Really?
the day.
That's
Yeah,
good
and it's
stuff.
like I could hear, this we're talking about in the 80s, but that remains the same. I mean, you're not
Yes.
going to sell potato chips. You're going to sell what the chips mean to that person. I need to go review my books.
Yeah, no,
I think you get caught in the I want to sell so much. And there are so many videos out there saying, oh, I made $10,000 in a week. And you want to be one of those. And you kind of get track and lose track of really how it is that you make those connections and make the money. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And although some of those videos are real, but it's in the end of the day, knowing the system or is not the same as somebody helping you or walking you through it. Because there's always, it's like a golden bullet is not made of just gold. It's like 100 silver bullets put together.
Mm.
And that's how like these businesses really work, right? It's all these the nuances, right? Once you figure out how to make money, it's about refining it and making sure it becomes stable. And then to be able to do that, you have to first understand all of the problems and start solving them one by one, right?
Yeah. This has been like hitting the floor bad and now trying to get back up because I would have never imagined that it was going to happen. And now I'm here. I mean, you
Yeah,
hear it happens to other people, but oh, not me. Oh, yeah, you too.
it's okay. Like you're like it's this is just part of the journey. Like everybody goes
Yeah,
through it.
yeah,
And
a
if
couple of mistakes that I'm not going to make again for sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like, so what you're doing is you're running a business, and not everybody's cut out to run a business. And the people who are not cut out are the ones who don't solve problems, right? The job of an entrepreneur in its core is to solve problems,
Absolutely.
and if you can't do that, it's better to get a job. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some of these problems are like sometimes you gotta solve the impossible problems,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
you don't have a choice but to solve them.
Yeah.
And
I
then
hear you. I so hear you. I've run businesses before, but brick and mortar, and this is my first time doing this, and I feel kind of like a little bit out of the water because their technology is so incredible that it's hard for me to catch up. Although I'm okay, um, but it's so much about solving what's in front of you at that moment.
exactly. Exactly. You take a step at a time. And as long as you don't give up, right?
Oh yeah.
And you have so this is the main point of my whatever I was saying. Solve like either way you're gonna have to solve the problem. How long it takes to solve it depends on the resources that you have on hand. And those resources, right? You can experiment. I know you know yourself. If you just grinded it out 5 years and you kept experimenting, you would have figured it out. I know you have that confidence. But are
Uh,
you gonna spend 5 years?
exactly.
You know what I
It's
mean?
hard.
And that's when it becomes valuable to have that network, right?
Hmm.
So you really want to cultivate that and then reach out to Marty. So your next steps would be reach out to Marty, have that MC11 resolved, right? In the meantime, your sister use her account, right? And then you can figure out all the taxes and stuff later on. Maybe if it is, you just pay it off or something, right? You start making money again, right? And then
Hmm.
you grow your business, and then you can start working on making more accounts and it's cleaning up, but you take it a step at a time. So number one, reach out to Marty, try to resolve the MC11. Number
Hmm.
two, have your sister set up a computer at her house, make the under account under her name, and then you just don't repeat the mistakes. Maybe you give her a profit share or something, right?
She doesn't need it.
Whatever
But
the
anyway,
case is, that is
yeah.
that is a viable option to getting back to selling, right? Imagine like you figured out how to make money and you create an agency and you just take everybody else's accounts, your sister's husband, maybe her cousins or whatever, leverage all of that and you give them a profit share,
Hmm.
right? Maybe 20%, maybe 50%, right? Or you can make more accounts, but the possibilities and the solutions are endless, right?
It
Whatever.
is, you have to like talk to people so you find out. Obviously, just looking at my screen, it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think you would have figured it out eventually.
eventually,
Yeah, like,
eventually.
but sometimes like one sentence is like, oh, I
Hmm.
never thought about that.
Exactly. Like you've said plenty of sentences that I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
It's been like I can't believe it. It's yeah.
yeah. So I think for you the easiest way of resolving this, contact Marley. Maybe you wait out the 3 months to clean up your account. You get back to selling under your sister's name for now, right? And then use her account, and then you don't need to figure out all of the problems today. When the problems come, figure them out as they go. Because imagine trying to solve the $1 million problem before you figured out the $10,000 problem or the $1,000 problem. Yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
to do that yet.
It's and that is very true also because I am like staying up until all hours of the night reading this account and just going over and over and over thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? And it's gotten me absolutely nowhere, and now I'm not any further along than I was a week ago, and
Sure you
now I'm
were.
exhausted. Well, yeah, now because I met you and
Well, you had
you
to
said
do all of that to have this conversation.
maybe yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? So you have
Mhm.
made progress, right? Every day, the more you learn, but the one truth about making money, like we're entrepreneurs because we're trying to make money, right? The one truth about it all is that the amount of money you make in this life, right? It depends on the impact that you have, right? So that means and the value that impact creates. So that means that even if you have all of this knowledge, but you're not making impact, right? By selling, you're not making
Mhm.
any money, right? So that means that what I would do is I would start immediately having an impact. Maybe you go up to your sister and you fire up her account. Maybe you have your brother-in-law or somebody, you fire up their account, you remote into their computers, and you start selling again today, right? And start making the impact that's required to capture value for yourself. Do you get what I mean? So research is good, but the needle needs to move, or the impact
Mhm.
needs to be made every day. And the impact on eBay, in short, the eBay is is simplified in a sense where the amount of money you're gonna make is how many listings that you have. How you get the accounts, who cares how you get them, right? You just get everybody's accounts. You start listing items. The more items that you have collectively, that's the amount of impact that you're gonna have, and that impact is gonna produce value for the customers, and you get to capture some of that for yourself. To get what I mean? So I
Yep.
would immediately call your sister up tomorrow, be like, "Hey, I need you set up, open up the computer, make the account, right? If you want, if she wants a profit share, go for it. If not, you just run it yourself. Like you do whatever." Right? You
Got
look
it.
at it from a business point of view.
My head is already turning.
Yeah, good. That's good. And make YouTube videos. I'm telling you, you're gonna like if that is one of the greatest. So whoever can apply this, like I guarantee it's gonna have one of the greatest impacts in your journey because the value that you provide, like imagine the conversation we just had, right? Imagine taking that and then sharing that, hey, I got suspended, I got MC11, but this are my next steps, this is what I'm doing right now. And then somebody else is gonna watch that video and say, I never thought about asking my brother to use his account. Right. And then they're gonna and then from there they're gonna go into the Facebook group and ask you, hey, how'd you do this? And they're gonna say that, hey, I make money by doing this, and you're gonna be like, oh, interesting. I didn't know you can do that.
Hmm.
And then you're
Yeah,
just gonna
just
keep
like you
learning.
told me.
Exactly.
Um, I am going to tap your knowledge on, well, I'm going to watch that video you said you have pinned on making another account, and then the drop shipping, because I still think that's a viable um, way to
Absolutely.
grow your, and I don't want to fail again like I did with AutoDS, and I got so mad at them at the end. I just want to go and collect my own account. And actually, I have been, because I was determined to make this work. And I started talking to wholesalers, making accounts, just
Very good.
sending them all the information and everything. Everything is under my one business name now. So I don't know how the logistics will work, but
It's as
no.
simple as just making, so with that model, you just have an eBay account you can list items on, right? And then when you get the sale, you can, and then you just ask the wholesaler ship it out, right?
No, yeah, I'm just saying if I open another account, another eBay account with a different name, but my wholesale account or my guy that is gonna drop ship is thinks that I am Cycle the Times, which is my business name. How there's not gonna be a problem of you're not who you think you are, or you're telling me you're this, but you're this.
In the end of the day, as long as you're providing value, right? The wholesaler, right? If you're not like causing problems for them, right? You're paying them on time, you're not sending it back a whole bunch of returns, you're not ruining their name. Who cares how you do it, go about it.
Okay.
Rules are not like strict, right? They're just there to like the reason everybody has rules and terms, right? For them to not get screwed over, right? As long as you're making
Long
sure
as they're
that they're,
receiving their payment, they'll keep giving me whatever furniture, perfumes,
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. And if you are like running a big business, they'll change the rules just for you,
Mhm.
right? We're all doing this for money. They have a certain terms, right? But all of these things are flexible, right? For the right people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
you're on the right path. Um, yeah, like for sure watch that video. On my, I would suggest you start back selling immediately to continue having an impact, right, on your sister's account, and then you contact Marty, right, and then you try to resolve the MC11. He's gonna give you a lot more deeper insights. He'll probably go into your account with you and just kind of like study it, and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
yeah, like and then you take it from there.
Okay.
Alrighty, sounds good. So, my last question for you would be that you said you were selling like vintage items. Were you sourcing them manually?
What do you mean manually?
Like you were going to like garage sales or
Yeah.
wow,
I love that shit. I
wow.
anything that attracts I I have three warehouses full of stuff that what I don't like is listing. So I have things that need to be listed and
You
they
have a
don't get
VA?
listed. No,
Should get a
I
VA?
don't. Yeah.
$2 an hour.
I've been thinking, oh, maybe I should get some teenagers like the high school or something,
Now,
but yes,
you wanna
absolutely.
you wanna get somebody who's exactly like you, but in a third world country, right? There's
Hey,
another Veronica out there in the Philippines, right, who would become your best friend. And then you just pay them $2 an hour, you take care of them, right? And they're gonna love you, and you're gonna love
and
them too.
they that's a liable, livable amount of money to pay them. I'm from
100%.
Argentina. I just came from there too. I just spent a month over there, and when they talk about the prices, I'm like, you're gonna pay her $3 for everything she did? Are you kidding me? She's very happy with the $3.50.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
you betcha.
So
You have
I
family in Argentina,
yeah,
and like the $3 or $2 is enough for them, yeah?
Well, I mean, it depends what you're doing, but I was talking about a girl that came and cleaned my grandmother's house, that's empty now, and she worked her butt off, and I think it was like three
Yeah,
dollars an hour, and I'm like, that is like
in the
insane.
in the Philippines and Bangladesh and all these countries, this is like a huge livable wage, right? So you are doing them a favor because imagine the opportunity you're giving them. So many moms out there, they just want to be at home on their computer and working. What an ideal lifestyle.
Yeah, I would have been when I my kids were growing up. I would have been like paying somebody to give me that job,
Exactly.
but I
Exactly. So
didn't
this
have to.
and you have the warehouses and all the items that you need to liquidate. And
Yep.
do you know how to liquidate them properly? Do you know how to sell on eBay?
Okay. What do you mean?
Like, do you know how to make sure your items sell?
I know how to list them, and
Just because you
I
list
guess
them
I
doesn't mean it's
don't.
gonna sell.
Right.
So that's part of the so this is my recommendation for you moving forward. Drop shipping, great. Don't get me wrong, but you said it yourself. You have three warehouses. It's a lot of inventory, right? You should move all of that, get some capital to start push like so you can have like to make things happen, right? Um, what I would do if I were you, right, is if I was in Veronica's place right now, right, would be my action plan. So number one, right, I would go ahead and contact Marty to resolve my account, right? Number two is I wouldn't actually watch the video on creating accounts yet, right, until like the first account because creating accounts is gonna be a process, and right now like you need to start making an impact, right, and you need to get your business back started. You need to start your business again. So number two, I would go ahead and contact my sister and make her make an account. And then number three, right, I would start listing those wholesale items, but I wouldn't do it myself. What I would do is I would take a bunch of pictures, right? And then maybe put it in a Facebook group chat, hire someone from the Philippines, $2 an hour, right? And all day they would list those items. And then number four, what I would do as a business owner, I wouldn't work in the business. I would work on the business. And the way you work on the business is by educating yourself, right? You continuously learn. And then while you're learning, you tell your team, okay, I learned this, start applying this, right? And then you keep learning and keep applying and have someone else apply it. Otherwise, what's going to happen is if you listed all those items, it's a job. It's a copy and paste. You're not
Yeah,
learning.
I am trying to do both. I try to list as much as I hate it, and I try to learn because I spend hours researching and reading and trying to, and I'm getting burned out because
Yeah,
I gotta sleep at some point, and I'm getting very little sleep, so I'm getting white hairs that I don't like, and it's not becoming fun anymore like it was, and I can't go sourcing or I can't go refinish furniture, which is what I
yes.
really like. So
So that exactly right. Like, as you said, like I would solve that problem where, first of all, the thing that you hate the most, you need to eliminate that, and the work needs to still be done. And also,
right,
listing on eBay is a job. That's working in the business. You're self-employed and you're not running a business now. You,
right.
as an entrepreneur, you should always be growing your business, learning more. Your daily job is networking, learning more, maybe sourcing better product or
Absolutely.
something. So find like somebody in Argentina. Maybe you ask your mother, "Hey, does the cleaner lady, does she have a sister who's looking for work?" And then tell her to sit down from the computer. You send her like a Google Drive with all the pictures and tell her list it. And then instead of giving her instructions, I would tell them figure it out. And then they'll let them do all of it and you come in the end and clean it up. So you use their intelligence. They're not robots, like they're real people with minds and intelligence. I leveraged the hell out of that. Like if somebody tells me they're a marketing major, right? If I hired you, Veronica, what I would do is I wouldn't tell you, okay, I need you to do this, this. I would be like, Veronica, I need sales. Here are my items. Figure it out. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's what I would do myself, actually. I truly, I would be like, I don't want to tell you what to do. I want you to show me what you can do, and this is the end. Show me how
Right.
you can get there. Yeah,
Right, exactly. So that's the way. So p these people are smart, or people have brains. Like we use as a business owner, you want to use the hell out of that. And if you're getting it for $2 an hour, you're killing it.
awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
that's the so that and then after you clear out your inventory in your warehouse, right? The way you're gonna do that is you're gonna have to continuously learn how to sell on eBay. So you're gonna have to master the platform. I have a bunch of videos that explain how the YouTube algorithm goes. So first you get the business started, and then you keep optimizing by you yourself growing. Do you get what I mean?
I had a aha moment and a switch of gears in a way, and stepping out from within into on, like you said, and that is going to be that is going to be more what I like. I like to tell people, do
Who
this,
doesn't?
do that. I don't like to be, but I'm like, I'm determined to make this thing work. So I was going to do whatever it took. But yeah, the mindset has to change.
Yes. Yes, I think you're on a good path. So Veronica, before we finish this call, repeat back to me what your action plan is so that way I know that I have given you the value and I know you're gonna be okay.
Definitely contact Marty
Okay?
and see where we go from there and work on that, and get my sister to lend me her account, and or my mom or whoever, and um, get another account open and get the VA, maybe even before that, to list the millions of things that I have occupying three warehouses that are costing me a lot of money every month. So, did I forget something?
No, I think that's very it's so simple.
I know it is.
It's
I
it's so
know it is.
it's the plan is so simple. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think we get like too much into our own minds, and gosh, step out of it.
I'm telling like you said it in such a simple way that like how could you fail?
Oh, and I forgot about the YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna really make me step out of my comfort zone. But
I
you
think
have
you're a good
videos on
looking
that?
girl. You know, you can
Uh,
you'll do fine. People are gonna watch. YouTube works the same way as eBay. Every time you post a video, it gets views. The more you post, the more views it gets, the more value you give, the more you're gonna get back. It's that simple. Make a Facebook group. Or what's your community that you're comfortable with? I'll probably join it.
I I don't know what you mean by community. That
Facebook
that
group.
Oh, well, I have a Facebook with my business name, um, Cycle the Times, and I have the Instagram and all of that. They're not stores; they're just like accounts. Um, and then all the other platforms that I cross list on.
Mhm.
Um, that's it. I don't
You,
have a YouTube.
you just want a group to put people in.
Okay,
Yeah, like a reseller group or something.
so I don't have one.
You just make one. Make a Facebook group and then call it Veronica Resells.
Okay,
And
got
then
it.
one by one, people are gonna start joining, and then you start cultivating the method. And if you have any questions on like how to like if you can contact me, send me a message, and I'll get back to you. And then like you just keep expanding your network and just make sure you have people to talk to.
Absolutely, man. This has been like incredible.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna end this call. Give some advice to the viewers who are gonna potentially watch this video. How to be successful on eBay from your
This guy
experience.
knows what he's talking about. Definitely listen. Definitely listen. And no, my biggest tip here is don't close up in your own self. Just go out there and see what other people have to say. Make friends, make connections, make post your question out there. I was so ashamed that I had this, that I was like, I can't. I mean, they're just going to chastise me forever. And guess what? A lot of people had the same thing. I was so yeah, go out there and expose yourself in a business way.
Yeah.
And it'll pay off. It'll definitely
Business
pay
way.
off.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, great advice. All right, guys, have a good one.
Thank you.